It looks quite well. I'm getting over a cold.
So we're all set. I will call our first meeting to order. We have a public meeting tonight and then a regular council meeting and a closed session meeting. So the public hearing first, I'll call the meeting to order at 5:30 PM and ask if there are any amendments to the agenda.
Through Mayor Lawrence, I have no amendments.
Thank you. Motion then that the agenda for the public meeting of June 18th, 2025 be approved as presented. Moved by Councillor Bone, seconded by Councillor Cassidy. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Declarations of pecuniary interest.
Through Mayor Lawrence, I have none.
Thank you. The application, this public hearing is convened under the Ontario Municipal Act 2001 to close part of a road allowance at the location described below pursuant to sections 8 and 9 of the Municipal Act 2001 to authorize the sale of the lands to the owners of the abutting lands. The subject lands are locally known as 15 Fair Street and legally described as Plan M306, Lot 28, TO 29, Part Lot RES, Parcel 18478. Confirmation of notice. The plan coordinator will confirm how notice was served to advertise this public hearing.
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, notice was served by the local newspaper, municipal website, social media, a sign posted on the site, and by mail to the adjacent property owners.
Thank you. The Development Services Manager can provide a summary of the application.
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, an offer to purchase the unopened road allowance has been received from Ben Reynolds on behalf of the Kenora District Services Board, KDSB. The subject unopened road allowance is on 2nd Avenue, traversing 15 Fair Street. The intent of the application is to acquire the road allowance lands to add to the existing property. KDSB acquired 15 Fair Street from Cowayton Patricia District School Board, KPDSB, in 2022. The property contains one main building and other accessory buildings. The main building is in use as an educational facility and an emergency shelter. The main building occupies part of the subject unopened road allowance that contains a municipal water service line. KDSB is anticipating future renovation on the building. The offer to purchase the unopened road allowance is to facilitate all future works of the buildings and expansion of use on the property. If this offer to purchase the unopened road allowance is successful, the applicant will be required to register a 5-meter wide easement over the municipal water service lines to facilitate all maintenance and works on the water lines. Council has the option of requiring a market value appraisal if they feel that the addition of the road allowance will substantially increase the value of the lot. The applicant would be responsible for the cost of the market value appraisal. It is recommended that the standard sale purchase price of $1,000 plus HST be applied to this sale. The addition should not add a significant increase in the value of the parcel.
Thank you. The Development Services Manager will read any correspondence received from government agencies and municipal staff.
Through Mayor Lawrence, no comments were received.
Thank you. The Planning Coordinator will read any correspondence received from the public.
Through Mayor Lawrence, no correspondence was received.
Applicant or representative is invited to speak to the application. Don't believe there's anybody here. Questions from council? Straightforward. Questions from members of the public? Hearing none. I must go through the motion. Members of the public are invited to speak to the application. The public can ask questions of clarification or seek background information, speak in support of the application, or speak in opposition to the application. All questions will be directed through the chair. It's requested that only one question be asked at a time. Please identify yourself before you answer your question so that you can be properly recorded in the minutes of the hearing. Till that, still no questions. Conclusion. This is the public hearing convened under the Ontario Municipal Act 2001 to close part of a road allowance at the location described below pursuant to sections 8 and 9 of the Municipal Act of 2001 to authorize the sale of the lands to the owners of the abutting lands. The subject lands are locally known as 15 Fair Street and are legally known as Plan M 263, lots 5 to 6, parcel 17998, and lot 7, parcel 20758. There is no appeal process. The recommended motion then will be that the second, is it the second?
Through Mayor Lawrence, no, the recommended motion is elected, and we will add the second motion to the regular council meeting agenda.
Thank you. So the motion is that council receives this report respecting the road allowance closure and sale application for the unopened road allowance on Second Avenue traversing 15 Fair Street. Need a mover for that? Moved by Councillor Costco, seconded by Councillor Timpson. All in favor? Carried. And that bylaw number 47-25 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council, the municipality of Sioux, June 18th, 2025 public hearing be read a first, second, and third time in pass. Moved by Councillor Ben Rita, seconded by Councillor Timpson. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Public hearing is now adjourned at 5:36 p.m. And I will call the regular council meeting of June 18th to order at 5:36 p.m. and ask if there are any amendments to the agenda.
Through Mayor Lawrence, yes, based on the outcome of the public hearing, I believe council may wish to add item 7.11, road allowance closure and sale. As well, under section 10, bylaw number 29-25. Bylaw number 29-25 under section 10.
With that amendment, so that the agenda for the regular council meeting of June 18th be approved as amended. Moved by Council Lego, seconded by Council Cassidy. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest?
Through Mayor Lawrence, I have none.
And adoption of minutes. We have the May 21st, 2025 regular council meeting minutes to be adopted as presented. Table Weaver, Councilor Van Breda, seconded by Councilor Bull. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And a motion that the minutes of the February 18th, 2025 Committee of Adjustment and Consent Granting Authority, the February 27th, 2025 Silicon OPP Detachment Board, and the May 8th, 2025 Environment Committee be received. Moved by Councilor Lego, seconded by Councilor Boone. Any discussion? In favor? Carried. Thank you. And a motion that the minutes of the March 27, 2022 Camilla Home Engaged Board meeting be received. Moved by Councilor Boone, seconded by Councilor Cassidy. All in favor? Any discussion on those? Let's give you the opportunity. No? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Determination of items requiring separate discussion. 7.1, water contract tender, the asphalt overlay. 7.2, Hillcrest Landscaping Project Annual HFC Phase 2 Funding Application. 7.3, wastewater treatment plant expansion and Highway 72 servicing extension, MHIP Health and Safety Water Stream Funding Application. Land sale and transfer Sturgeon River Road. 7.5, adopt a block approval. Progress and site development. 7.6. Roscoe. 7.7, Sioux Salvation Army donation. Gibson. 7.8, Sioux Area Seniors Activity Center contribution. 7.9, delegation request to Sioux Soccer League follow-up.
Sorry, what number was that?
7.9, Delegation requests to look outside the meeting. Councillor Cassidy, yes. 7.10, August council meeting date change. I don't think the location would change the date of the September. Oh, and change the, sorry, it's two items in one, that's right, yeah. Change the date of the August council meeting, change the location of the September regular council meeting. And 7.11, we won't just, I don't think we're lifting that again to road allowance.
1.10. I got 7.10. Did you get me for that?
Yeah, is somebody lifting that?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right, okay.
7.10, yeah.
Very good. So we have adoption of items not requiring separate discussion. And the items we have lifted are 7.2, 7.3, 7.5, 7.6, 7.7, 7.9, and 7.10. Okay. So a motion to adopt the items not requiring separate discussion, item 7.1, item 7.4, and item 7.8.
And 7.11.
And 7.11, thank you. All items. Moved by Councillor Lego, seconded by Councillor Van Breda, all in favor? And there are no delegations, so we can move right into items for separate discussion. Item 7.2. The council authorizes staff to proceed with the submission of the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund NHSE Institute application to support the Hillcrest Pub landscaping project with the total project budget of $810,235 plus HST. And further, the council approves the use of long-term debt to fund the municipal contribution of $310,235 plus HST. And further, that the municipality commit to covering any unanticipated cost overruns associated with the project. Line. Councillor Cassidy, seconded by Councillor Van Breda. Start the discussion with Councillor Bowman.
I'd just like to get some clarification on the recommendation, third line, that the municipality commit to covering any unanticipated cost overruns associated with the project.
With the Americans, I can speak for this. Yes, so this is a requirement now from many of the funders that this line be included in the application because they want a guarantee of the project will be completed. And this is standard wording now, most applications that they didn't accept the funding application if that wording isn't included.
Yeah, we've seen that for a few years for sure, you know.
Yeah, you said. No.
Yeah, I was just worried because of the dollar amounts and other things that have been going on in Hillcrest, so I just wanted to make sure that any of the unanticipated costs, of course, come through council for deliberation. Thank you.
Councillor Lego.
Is this sort of the same thing that we were discussing last year? And we just got funding to offset?
Yes, through you, Mayor Lawrence, yes, we have had a discussion about landscaping requirements, and this was the opportunity to go after the funding. We had looked at another funding opportunity last year, but our needs didn't quite match what was available, so we are now making this application because we feel it has a fairly good chance of success.
And do you know what council passed or approved for the original one?
The original one, I think, was just for the phase one application. And so at that point, we were still looking at getting costs because there had been a couple of costs that came in that weren't reasonable for a variety of reasons. So then we had to issue another one, another RFP, which has taken some time to get us to this point. So I don't recall offhand, Jen or Yashvir, if there was a specific amount we had identified last year. I believe this is less than what we had initially identified.
It was $1.3 million, I think, was the total amount of phase one.
Councillor Croxton.
Now, can we just talk about, like, can you?
Thank you, thank you.
Can we just, maybe, discuss the financial implications, just so the public know, because I mean, everywhere we go, people are stopping and asking us these questions. So can you just talk about that a little bit? What the current budget is and what this includes and what it will be?
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, if I may, the item number 7.6 will actually cover that in a lot more detail with all additional, I think. I mean, we can answer the question now, but I think it may fit in a little bit better with 7.8.
And this will be included in that?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Thanks.
Yes.
Anything further on 7.2, Council? Now, call the vote, all in favor? Carried, thank you. 7.3, wastewater treatment extension. The council authorizes staff to proceed with the submission of an application under the Municipal Housing Infrastructure Program, Health and Safety Water Stream for the Sioux wastewater treatment plant expansion and Highway 72 servicing extension project. And further, the council approves the inclusion of the required municipal capital contributions to support the application, with funding to be sourced from a combination of capital project reserves, taxation, and long-term debt to be confirmed through future capital budgeting processes. Mover. Lego, seconded by Councilor Cassidy. Discussion starting with Councilor Foster.
So for the Highway 72 expansion, it uses the word potential. Is it not confirmed? And has, if we're going to do this now, is the land transferred to the developer and is the developer ready to go?
To you, Mayor Lawrence, so the land has not been transferred to the developer. We have awarded a separate contract to WSIP, and this is a provisional component of it. So as we move forward, if we get that confirmation, then we will proceed with this piece of the work.
So if the land is not transferred, the work will not be completed until the land is transferred and the developer is ready to go.
I believe
Okay,
that's correct.
that's the concern. Yeah, okay.
Oh, if I may also, just as a bit of an update, I have been in contact with the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry with regard to this particular property and the delays associated with it. My last contact was about 6 weeks ago, and there had been a requirement for an archaeological assessment, which, to their credit, the ministry did cover the cost of. They didn't pass that cost on to the developer, so that was, I think, appropriate. The results of that have come in. They've been sent to the Ministry of Culture for review. Once Ministry of Culture reviews, then it goes to Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks for review. Once MECP has their take on it, then all of that information gets funneled back to MNRF, who then make a final decision on the disposition of the land. So I was informed that MNRF did request an expedited review by both Ministry of Culture and MECP. But expedited in the world of government, as we know, we're talking months instead of years. So not days.
Thanks. Councilor Layton.
Just for the wastewater facility, in the report, it said that we're nearing capacity of 2,140 cubic meters per day, and future estimates are going to be 3,400. So with this work being done, are we going to meet that 3,400 or are we going to exceed 3,400?
We are still exploring options with the expansion, and our current estimates say we will beat this by 200. So we are aiming for 3,600 meter cube per day.
And my second question, I know that over the years we've discussed having a central treatment, a third central treatment unit. Does this amount include a new CTU?
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, so we explored options, and currently we are more inclined to using MABR technology. It's more efficient and it can be retrofitted into 2 CTUs that we currently have, and it leaves us with space that we can use in future for third CTU.
Thank you.
Councillor Fosco.
When I met with Brian the other day, we did talk about this and he said it was a time that would work with this. So, in Dryden, their sewer treatment plant has the dump for the RV. It's just at a sewer treatment plant, it's just a little offsite thing. So if we're doing work at sewer treatment plant, wouldn't that be the ideal time to include something like this? Our community doesn't have it. It is an environmental issue when people are dumping their sewer in the bush or whatever. So it would be the perfect time to include this. And Dryden's is very simple. It's just a little bump out on the road beside the water, beside the sewer plant. There's a little, sewer dump and that's it. It's very simple, nothing complex.
So I had a very high level conversation with our engineering and project manager about this. We will be exploring it further. Given that we're still in the very early stage of this project, there certainly is a little bit of room for adaptation. I do recall, I believe I recall correctly when council discussed this matter a while back when there was a proposal from a private enterprise. I believe Mayor Lawrence may have made a similar suggestion about some sort of connection to the sewage treatment plant as well. So it's certainly something we'll explore. And if it adds any, significant additional cost to the project, we will absolutely bring that to council for review.
To make sure there's enough room for turning of, because that's a dead end.
Absolutely.
So, turning circle of some kind. I'm not suggesting a roundabout, just
Yeah, it's the cul-de-sac.
for people who
Yes.
was inept as I was when I did it, and telling the trailer that you can
Yeah.
not have to back up, but just
Yes.
turn the circle. Anything further on this one, Council? And all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item 7.5, adopt a block program. The council directs staff to initiate in collaboration with the environment committees and adopt the block program in Silicon. The mover first, moved by Councilor Rita, seconded by Councilor Cassidy, and discussion, Councilor Bone first.
In the financial part of it, implications, I'm just wondering where this money would come from. I encourage programs like this. I thank the Environment Committee for coming forward to help pick up litter and consider other alternatives. But the committees, is there a bylaw on how much money each committee gets? And,
I think the CAO can answer your first question.
okay,
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, each committee is provided with $2,500 annually for their to help implement their work plans.
First question was, where's the money gonna come from?
Yeah, so that will be up to council. There is presently $40,000 of municipal accommodation tax funding that is unallocated. So that could be one potential source.
Mr. Costa.
I love this idea. And I would be in favor of the accommodation tax going towards this. This is what the accommodation tax is for. We want to come to our town and see that we've put in all these wonderful things and the town is clean and the town is well maintained because of the accommodation tax. So this aligns perfectly with the accommodation tax. And I love this initiative and I'm hoping to adopt it law.
Absolutely.
So maybe I'd like to recommend that the committee reach out to businesses that could help out offset some of these costs. As we know, you see the advertising on the litter, so it'd be nice to go to probably almost all businesses, even contact the Chamber of Commerce to reach out to the businesses and see if they're willing to step up and put some money down on this as well. So that could offset taking money out of the municipal accommodation tax.
Councilor Van Braden.
I did get an email from the Chamber of Commerce this afternoon. I'm just trying to open up my Outlook. But the Chamber of Commerce, and I put the emails to Jody, to Brian as well. The Chamber of Commerce is more than happy to partner with us on this. And they said that they will be more than happy to host the pickers in the garbage bags at the TIC. like the travel info center.
Very positive. I'm gonna complicate things a little bit here. With there's been, I've had a couple of meetings at the request of local citizens regarding needle pickup, used syringe pickup. I'm wondering, and we, CIO and I are meeting with various agencies to try and, come up with some ideas, but could this fit in, is litter of a different sort, but, when we do the litter cleanups, the annual, we picked up, is there some way that this could fit into that? I'm not sure who do I ask this question to, CAO or?
I think this is an initiative from the Environment Committee, so I refer it to the Environment Committee. Council Representative.
Councilor, Councilor,
Well, the needles are everywhere. So I think they are going to, the pickers will be picking up needles, and I think that there'll need to be some training how to do it appropriately or carry a separate bucket for it, which,
okay, so it's already being considered and,
yeah.
Councilor Cassidy?
Yeah, the health unit has kits, I believe, for picking those up. I think if there's a garbage picker goes out, it goes with a needle kit too. I think that's easy. I have one in my office too. It's,
Health unit will
Great.
provide training as well.
yeah, they tell you how to do it and walk through, so.
It should be, we should emphasize that municipality in the public space that we control is already, there's 2 people going out, I think, for close to 4 hours a day, doing, needle and lube pickup. So we like to sort of work with the municipality, if the environment committee could do that. Councilor Costco and then Councilor Van Branden.
I think that Counselor Cassidy is correct, that the health unit provides the free pickups and then you just turn them back into them. And when we used to do litter cleanup at the high school, people use them all the time and it's very safe. And then they get the gloves, the pickers and the containers, which are sealed.
Councilor Van Branden.
Yeah, because I've also reached out to the SIFNA harm reduction department. And so I told them about the Blueberry Festival opening on Friday, August 1st. I just said, before everyone gets there, are you able to maybe go down there, pick up, because last year we had a few needles up on the stage. So I just reached out to them saying, can you come early in the morning before people arrive, check for needles? And they said that they were more than happy to, with their needle kit and everything. So
I don't want to get into the details of the operations in this. This is a broad approval of the funding. Councilor Simpson.
Slightly off the topic, but related is I've had several people talk to me about needles. And I'm wondering if we should at some point have a meeting with the health unit and see if there's any alternatives.
We did have the health unit come in November, if you recall. Dr. Kitson came in November and made a presentation to us. We can, could you circulate that presentation, that slide presentation again? But we are in an active discussion, as sort of following up on calls and meetings I've had with members of the public. I've been meeting with CAO. We've got the health unit engaged, KDSB and some other agencies. So we are sort of following up on that. But there was Dr. Kidd did come and make a presentation. I'm saying affirmative notes.
Yeah, I just think it wouldn't hurt to bring it up again with them because it seems to be accelerating the things.
Yeah, through Mayor Lawrence, yes. So administratively, yes, I have meetings scheduled with the health unit on July 3rd. This is one of several topics that we'll be discussing. And I'm also in the process of setting up an interagency committee of those local agencies and stakeholders who are involved in these issues to look at putting together an action plan. The municipality can't do it all on our own. We need help and support, and that's sort of the theme of these initial conversations that I'm beginning to have with these agencies.
I'm just thinking one of the issues I think that we should clarify, the public believes that the needles are out there because the health unit is giving them free, and I don't think that's true. If we could get some data from them on how many come back and address that issue with the public.
Yes,
People are getting their
part of
needles elsewhere.
part of what the mayor and I have been working on is a response to the letter that council received and was printed in the newspaper a few weeks ago. And that response will include a response to the individual, but also I'm suspecting the mayor's desk article to let the public know. And part of that, my recommendation to Mayor Lawrence would be that part of that response include all the efforts that are currently being undertaken, as well as facts and stats about actual risk and harm and those types of things. Because I think that there are nobody likes to see needles flying in the ground. Needles are associated with negative feelings and negative connotations and, drug use and, all that kind of thing. So, there's work to be done on public education and harm reduction. There's work to be done, around education around what the actual risks are. And again, I'm envisioning this working group that I'm trying to pull together will all play a role in helping to provide that public education. I don't think it's something the municipality can do on its own, but I do think that we have a role in helping to convene and move the dialogue forward.
And I complicated things by bringing.
Maybe quick, because also, Councilor Timpson, at the KDMA conference this year in Ear Falls, Dr. Kit Yoon talked about the needle program. Pretty much echoed what she said here in November. I remember she was grilled by the mayor of Nation there about the needle system and everything. And, I think she reaffirmed the health unit's commitment to finding a solution that will positively impact both the harm reduction side, but also ensure that our streets are cleaned. And so she spoke twice about this issue and everything. So I feel like this. She mentioned too that it was on top of the mind of the health unit.
Now, if we approve this, is this ongoing or is it just this year? Do they have to come back every year? Or is this approving it like ongoing forever?
So the my reading of the email from the chamber is that they're willing to provide bags and gloves. So those are some of the annual costs. Now, with respect to labels and stickers, window stickers, road signs and posts, I don't envision road signs and posts would be something that would be required annually. Although that is something at an operational level will have to be discussed with staff, because depending on where they're going to be located, there's sightline issues and all that type of stuff that we have to look at. The garbage pickers, I envision that to be at least initially a one-time purchase with potential punishment every 3 or 4 years as the case may be required. Advertising, I would assume, would be an annual cost. So while the total for this year is showing at 4,025, I would suspect that annually we could probably expect about half that in consumables that would have to be replaced on an annual basis.
So how would that work procedurally? Like, because we approve $4,000.
Yeah,
So how procedurally will this work?
If it's council's desire that this would be an initiative that would continue, they can direct staff to include funds for this in next year's budget. Or it can come back every year. My suggestion would be that we implement it this season and see how the response is and see how effective the program is. And then that should be evaluated and then further considered as part of the Environment Committee's work plan for 2026 would be my recommendation as a path forward.
Could I just, perhaps we could approve this and put it in place for this year and next year, which would be the term of this Environment Committee. And then in the future, maybe if the next Environment Committee wants to do it, it would run for the life of the term of council and the committee. But just a thought that, and to give it a chance to get up and running, it's already, we're halfway through this year, it would be this year and next year then. Okay,
And the funds coming from.
I guess at the budget time for 2026 budget, you'll tell us where those funds are coming from, mat tax or is that what we're suggesting they come from the mat tax again?
Certainly, we can, given the relatively small sum, I would suggest that that decision be made now and just say that the mat tax will fund the program in 2025 and 2026 as it was in the report.
Council agree with that? And before I call the vote, I'll just say I applaud this, the initiative from the Environment Committee, and it seems to have broad support, whether it be Chamber of Commerce or others. I'm sure members of the public, I think it's got broad support, and I wish you every success with it. And member of the public would like to speak, I'll let,
First of all, just as chair of the Environment Committee, I congratulate. I appreciate all the support we have for this initiative. There are a few things that I just wanted to comment on. Regarding the longevity of the program, when I researched this, I learned that the city of Kenora has been doing this. The person that I spoke to had been working on this project for the past 8 years. So it's been running in Kenora for at least 8 years. She said it could have been running before that, but that was when she started working for the city. Most of the comments that councillors have made, we have talked about at the committee, and we appreciate your recognition of these things. We do, the initiative is to engage the community in as many ways as possible. So we would look forward, we wanted to see if we could engage businesses in actually doing some of the cleanup, but also maybe participating by putting money towards this. And so far, it sounds like we've got a lot of buy-in from various places. So I would encourage council to see this as an ongoing thing, because as well as the small cost that we have of this, the big what we get out of this is as Councillor Costco said, is a clean community, and we've looked at various ways of addressing the littering issue, and punishment through fines doesn't work. Education has a minimal effect. So what we need to do is we need to get people out there keeping the community clean, because when people see that the community is clean, they're less likely to litter. It's you walk into somebody's house and there's stuff all over the place. You don't mind just throwing something on the floor, but in a community where you see that the place is clean, you're more likely to look for a garbage can. So anyway, thank you for your support of this program.
thank you, George. Any further council? Seeing you.
To Mayor Lawrence, given the discussion and direction from council, the resolution will have to be amended. I have wording. So the original resolution will stand that council directs staff to initiate in collaboration with the Environment Committee and adopt the block program in Sioux, and further that council approves this initiative for 2025 and 2026, with funds for 2025 and 2026 applied from municipal accommodation tax and municipal fund up to $4,000 in 2025 and up to $2,000 in 2026.
So good with that. So shall I? How do we do that procedurally with the?
So we would need the mover to agree to the revised motion.
The mover is
Councillor Van Breda.
agreed. All right. With that said, I will call the vote. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thank you. 7.6, Hillcrest Site Development. The council approved the additional costs resulting from the redesign of the northern parcel, better support future development. Moved by Councilor Leahy, seconded by Councilor Cassidy. Discussion, starting with Councilor Costco.
That's the same question I had before, that if we could just outline the financial costs publicly so that the public can hear and understand the scope of this project.
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, we're looking at increases with the northern parcel and adding an access road to create additional lots in there. That would include the extension of water and sewer servicing as well as some stormwater works in that area. That, not including the stormwater, that's approximately 430,000, 397,000. That's the estimated cost right now. The hydro cable installation, so they're currently installing all the transformer volts for each lot as well as the conduits, to run the hydro and the communication line. So the addition of the hydro cable installation is about 111,000. We'd like to look at, as we're kind of coming to a close of the project, to clean up some of the areas around the site in preparation for the landscaping side of this. So some clearing and grubbing of the forested area between kind of adjacent to the lower development site, which would help the sight lines and just kind of push back the trees because they would be vulnerable the way they are now to falling into the development area, and it would clean it up. And we're also looking at infilling some of the lot to there's kind of an area where we had considered for landscaping and different things in the past, so to fill that up to a suitable height to better utilize potentially in the future for, like I say, the picnic area, additional parking if it comes to that, even additional development down the road someday if it comes out. It's quite a large space. So that's roughly 96,000 for the fill. And then infilling the building lots in the northern parcel as the originally the entire northern parcel was one big block. So we kept the elevation of the infilling lower. So when someone comes in and develops, they would then be responsible to kind of build up the site around. But now that if we proceed with this loop road, we're creating these kind of lower boxes that would, there'd be drainage issues and things like that. So filling those areas to kind of just below grade would help, again, make it easier for someone to develop, and then you'd alleviate the drainage concerns after. Then there's some there's site grading and swaling to the north of the First Avenue property there, the fourplex, just to make sure that we've had discussions with the property owner. He's going to let us do some work in his front yard to help with those kind of weeping tile things you see. And in exchange, to an extent, we'll be just confirming that we swale the land properly up to the north there to bring it to First Ave and send it to the open ditch there. And we have the subsurface storm that's going to need to be installed in the northern parcel because we noticed this spring with all the snow runoff and the rain, that the water was backing up there. So they're routing some storm water. We're hoping we could kind of do it overland, but that's not going to work. So they got to run some subsurface storm to kind of route water to the drainage channel that was there before. And then we're starting the survey work for some of the lots that there's interest in. So that's another cost that we've included in here as well. And then a bit of a contingency for hopefully no more unknowns, but I know the stormwater costs are coming in higher than the 20 and anticipated 20,000, but we should be able to cover that in the contingency.
So with the landscaping and this additional work, what is our total bill at then for the project?
Through you, once the total project will be sitting at about 10.9 million.
So council has already approved the 1.3 from before for the landscaping. We've already approved that.
Yeah, so that was approved in principle, and now it's less than 1 point.
So we've already approved 1.3. We've used 310,000 of that. So there's $990,000 saying that it's been approved already.
Right, but there have been additional, so if you recall, in one of the last updates to council on this was we had put in an additional contingency of 600,000 to kind of help overcome some of the other challenges that we experienced with the site, geotechnical challenges. That money has been used up, so this is in addition to that. So what you're seeing now is a cumulative total on the project. So the sorry, 10.9, the almost 11 million is your cumulative total to date, including what's being proposed in this report.
That cost includes grants.
That includes grants that we've received, municipal contributions, and so on, yes.
More money than we had hoped at the beginning of this project, but here we are. But I wanted, yesterday I was at, attended the housing forum that was put on by our Development Services and Community Initiatives Department, and I want to be careful. What I heard there is public, so I can say that, and I'm going to look to you to CIO, so that the closed session or my mind doesn't open into the open session. But in public, a developer stood up and made a presentation on, I believe, using the mixed use zoning that we have permitted. I'm just gonna hazard a guess, it was a 10,000 square foot commercial development with, that's not a guess, it's my memory.
1,000, 5,000.
Sorry?
Sorry, 3 Mayor Lawrence, 5,000 ground floor and then a 5,000 second.
Yeah, so, and the upper floor, 5,000, and he also talked about a building with, I think, 15 to 18 residential units, small residential units. So that's a very positive development, and then on the side, he spoke to me about another possible, he's trying to bring in a set franchise. But CEO, can you state other developments that I don't know?
Sure. So through you, Mayor Lawrence, we're still working through the process of a couple of the land sales that have already been confirmed by council in closed session, and we will bring the appropriate bylaws, all that kind of stuff once the survey work is complete. So we're very pleased to see that the marketing efforts so far have certainly been generating interest. It's generated the sale of 2 lots so far. There is, as you mentioned, additional interest. I spoke with our strategic initiative manager this morning. She has been contacted just again today by another potential interested investor developer. So clearly there's a great deal of interest, and it's encouraging to see that with the sale of first couple of lots, that this investment by council is coming to fruition, and will make an important addition to the community. It's been the construction phase has taken longer than we had hoped, but rest assured that the site has been active since construction began. In fact, we have a couple of developers who are eagerly awaiting the conclusion of construction, which we're anticipating for the end of the summer, so that they can actually get shovels in the ground this fall. So it'll be really encouraging to see that development work get underway this fall and next spring.
As the costs have gone up, my blood has been running colder and colder, so I'm looking forward to warming up as we see developers working in there instead of us developing. Council Bone.
So the developer or developers that had concerns with the limited space in the back, is this a make or break?
Yeah, so through you, Mayor Lawrence, the inclusion of the ring road or the loop road, pardon me, is now a requirement based on the sale of one of those subdivided lots. So we have to put that road in now because we've approved the sale of the lot in that subdivided northern parcel. Pardon me.
Anything further, council? Thanks for the explanation, and I'll call the vote. On the motion, we had to move on a second roll, right?
It's unanimous, yes.
All in favor? Carried, thank you. Silver Goat Salvation Army donation. The council provides direction to staff on how they would like to proceed with the Salvation Army's request to offset waste disposal. Now the bylaw number 26-20 being a bylaw to establish an annual funding contribution to the Silver Goat Salvation Army has expired. And further, that if council decides to continue the annual funding contribution to the Sioux Salvation Army, to authorize the passing of bylaw number 42-25 being a bylaw to establish an annual funding contribution to the Sioux Salvation Army. Moved by Councillor Timpson, second by Councillor Costo, and discussion started with Councillor Timpson.
Yeah, the Salvation Army does so much good work here. It grants to the nonprofits and help people when their houses burn down. Gives out free clothing. I just wondered, $1,500 and they spend $7,500 a year on garbage. Is there any way we could even just give them a card that they can just put their garbage there? Everything they've done doesn't stop people coming and dumping stuff there that they can't use. Sort of an in-kind donation.
Councillor David.
Yeah, I don't think it's $7,500 a year, because when I calculated it, we've given them $7,500 over the last 5 years, and they've spent $3,780. So there's still $3,720 that wasn't used for waste fees, which could be used elsewhere. There was actually extra money available with the $1,500. If I read the report properly.
Staff comment or?
Junior Lawrence, so we have processed the application or the request as it was submitted to us. The request is for 1,500 annually, so that's what's been requested, so that's what's before council.
I'm an avid person that goes to the Salvation Army. I go twice a week, every Tuesday and Saturday when they're open, and I cannot believe the amount of people that use the Salvation Army. You cannot get in there now. They are servicing so many people in the community, the newcomers to our community. It is so packed in there that on Saturday, no matter what time you go, you can barely move. I even go on Tuesdays. I'm there when it opens. Try to avoid that, and you cannot avoid it. So they are doing epic work. I know that every cent that they get, they do redistribute to the community in the form of good work. Anyway, they help students on trips that can't afford to go. They pay for kids who have a grade 8 trip. They pay for a lot of stuff. So I'm a very avid supporter of the work that they do, and they are being run by volunteers. And the amount of work that it takes to keep this business open, it's one of the busiest businesses in town. And if you can't get a parking spot, you have to park down the road. And it's all run by volunteers. So to give them $1,500 a year, and this is coming from our $25,000 donation fund. Now, how much of the $25,000 donation fund have we used to date?
For this year,
Yeah, for this
I
year.
don't believe we have used any yet.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So
Yeah.
this one with $1,500 and the one that we just approved, the other one, we've used a very small portion of it. So the funds are sitting there waiting for people to request them, and they're requesting them. So let's approve it. Yeah.
Any further comments, council? Councillor Timpson.
I just wonder if it'd be easier just to say, to give them a pass to the dump.
Yeah.
Junior, once again, they've requested 1,500 in cash, so I think it's hard to say, here's a dump pass instead. I think the other observation is that they have a surplus in terms of what they've spent on landfill tipping fees versus the cash that we've given them, so they probably have other good uses for that cash as well. So if the request had been for a tipping card or something like that, then absolutely that's what we would have brought forward, but the request was for 1,500.
This is giving them more value than it's looking for. So. Any further, I think I just call the vote and.
Can we not just reword it, the 1,500 for garbage and other costs associated with running, like, because if you look at it, I understand, like, I agree with everyone in this room how important the Salvation Army is, but the numbers just don't add up. So when you look at the report, I mean, they definitely need it, just the manpower to move the garbage that shows up from people that use the Salvation Army as a dumping ground at times.
Is there anything to say?
So through you, Mayor Lawrence, the bylaw is worded in such a way that there is no requirement for annual reporting on how the funds are being used, because it's such a small amount. So in that respect, and again, going back to the application, it's based on their requests to help offset their costs related to garbage disposal. So that's how we've written the bylaw, and because we aren't asking for them to reconcile annually and return any unused portion, given the small amount, given the relatively small amount, I would suggest that that how we've outlined it reflects the request. And I think the other reality as well is that their costs may increase over time as well. As our tipping fees increase over time, their costs are going to increase as well. So I think the bylaw is sufficient.
Councilor.
I think I've had a conversation about this with someone at Salvation Army and they were the official spokesperson. But if we give them a pass, then now it becomes a procedural thing. Who can use the pass? When you go to the dump with the pass, you're supposed to bring your personal garbage. So this way, it makes it simpler for them. It's easier. They're not, dealing with that type of situation. So I think we should just honor and respect what they ask for.
Let's pass the bylaw. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item 7.9. That Rich sent the delegation request, say about something they call. The council directs staff to await feedback and confirmation from the QA and Patricia District School Board regarding the potential for municipal financial support to assist with improvements to the Sioux Mountain Public School soccer field. And further, the council approves up to $10,000 in funding to be funded from the municipality's portion of the municipal accommodation tax to support required upgrades to the Sioux Mountain Public School soccer field, should the KPDSB be supportive of this course of action. Mover. Councilor Lego, second by Councilor Cassidy. Discussion starting with Councilor Cassidy.
Yeah, thank you. I guess my question is with some of the engagement with KPDSB, and I know a lot of the intent and focus is on just improving the field. Is it staff's intent to have longer or conversations with them for the longer term operation of that field, or?
My take on the feedback from KPDSB is that they are doing everything that they can, and they will continue to seed and fertilize, and that is all they're prepared to do at this time.
So seed and fertilize, like what they've been doing. They've been doing
what they've done. Yes.
Okay. So if we're going to, hopefully with what they've proposed here, is drastically improve, and I think they will. I guess the longer term viability of that site, being that I think significant tax dollars went into the creation of it and the building of it, can part of the resolution, I guess, be to pursue options for long-term viability of that site for municipal use, either us taking
According to the school board, it is already suitable for municipal use. It's the school board's perception is that what is being requested is beyond what's required for municipal use or league use, is the board's position currently. So essentially the board's position is there's nothing wrong with the field. It's fine to use the way it is. That's the last correspondence I have. I wrote back, I shared the league's proposal, deficiencies that they have identified in their photographic report. And I have not had any further correspondence for the board. I had suggested to the board that it would be helpful if the league and the board met so that they could come to an agreement on what an appropriate level of care, maintenance, and standards the field should be kept to. But again, I haven't received any feedback on that suggestion. So essentially, I guess what I'm saying is there's very little that the municipality can do unless the school board is willing to work with us.
I guess that's where I want to go. Is like, if if we have a standard we want to maintain it to and do, then let us do that over the summer months or whenever soccer is doing that to maintain it, because we have a field established already. We have a vested interest in having a good soccer field, and we don't have the money to go or the land available to go try and find a new spot. So I think it's in our best interest to pressure them maybe a little more to try and get something where we have a little more oversight and care and control of this, instead of running to them every time we want to dump some fertilizer on there, because
Yes.
people are going to roll their ankles every time they try and use the field.
So my preferred solution would be an agreement between the municipality and the school board with respect to the field, with respect to who is responsible for maintaining which aspects, with respect to whether or not and to what extent the municipality is going to supply funding on an annual basis to help with that maintenance. That would be my goal.
So can we, sorry, Brian, could we add that then, like, somewhere into this recommendation or some direction to staff that be a portion of the discussions with the board, with the school board, is that to work through options for a longer term agreement with this maintenance, so we don't run into this every year and have to keep coming back and having the same discussion.
Yes, so providing, of course, through you, Mayor Lawrence, that council is prepared to enter into an annual funding contribution for this work. That decision would still have to be made by council.
Yeah, it'd still come back, yes.
So at this point, you know, we do have to keep in mind that this is a school board's asset. It is their property. We have no right currently to go in and try to augment or improve the field without their consent and approval, which is not immediately forthcoming.
So right now, we do not have their approval to improve the field,
Correct.
so we can't improve the field then.
It's not at this time.
We're waiting for feedback.
Response to my last correspondence, which is now 3 weeks.
Yeah, because I think historically past practice, because I worked at Queenswood High School with Steve Bowling, who spearheaded single-handedly with a group of men from men's league. The board was not the people maintaining the field. It was a group of people who worked there, who John McCrae mowed the field as a volunteer for years. They were mostly volunteers. Volunteers have kept that field up for years and years and years. So from the board's point of view, nothing has changed. Like they're doing exactly what they've always done. And the field has always run and it has always worked. And so, but we definitely need agreement where we can continue that historical work. We have past practice.
Yes, so I guess the thin edge of the wedge on that is one was at QE and now we're talking about Sioux Mountain, and that's perhaps part of the difference. But yes, council is absolutely correct. Councillor Cost, pardon me, Cassidy is absolutely correct that the municipality was able to, with its own 126,000 from the tax base, leverage an additional several $100,000 to help with the establishment of the field in the first place. Typically, when and we have seen this many times in the past, typically when an organization raises money or contributes to an initiative that then belongs to somebody else, the person that it belongs to is typically responsible for the ongoing maintenance and upkeep of that asset. We have seen this. We've seen it with the clock. We've seen it with the Village Trail. We've seen it with so many things that have been fundraised and donated to the municipality, but then we have a never-ending commitment to upkeep it. I don't see how that's a lot different with this field and the school board. It's their asset. And
If the definition of upkeep is different.
Well, that seems to be the problem. Their definition of upkeep, they recognize that it's not appropriate for OFSA. They did recognize that in the letter, but they said it's fine for municipal minor soccer use. And they seem to think that we shouldn't be involved or shouldn't have say other than our own minor soccer program. They seem to be confused as to why and I explained that we received a delegation from the league, and so we're trying to work together and come up with a solution to support the league's concerns with the field. But at this point, the league and the board are very far apart on what the field needs to look like and how it needs to be maintained.
So procedurally, how can we approve spend money on what we can't do?
So that's exactly my recommendation is that if they approve it, that we will spend up to $10,000 based on the plan that the league put together, based on what they feel would be needed. In addition to all the volunteer work that would also have to go into it, the 10,000 will cover some of the costs, which some are estimated. I think the total in the information received from the league was about 6,800, 7,000. I'm suggesting 10 just because we know that, and there were certain like equipment costs that weren't factored in and so on. So that's why I had suggested $10,000, provided the board agrees to enter into an agreement for ongoing maintenance and upkeep.
Could we, so the end of it says, should KPDSB be supportive of this course of action and agree to enter into some form of agreement? Could we add that as I'm also curious, get you in a second, Councilor Michaels. The school board operates in many municipalities, including Kenora and Dryden. I'm interested in how the fields are maintained in those two. Is the soccer field at the Dryden High School the main soccer field? Or is it another school, the KPDSB school? And how are they maintained? Do they have agreements with the municipality? What's the level of maintenance? There's an active soccer league in both Kenora and Dryden. Could you reach out to your
other communities have additional fields besides the school fields, which have been fundraised and supplied by community organizations. Like I know, for example, in Dryden was Rotary that fundraised and provided the money for a community soccer field per se. Which, and again, that part of the request is still to come in a future report. The league's request in the delegation, pardon me, with respect to a second field for Sioux Lookout, a community owned, run, and operated second field.
Council, sorry, I'll go to Councilor Lego first.
Yeah.
Would they be eligible for that money from the committee? Could they reach out to the committee? They do bring people into the community.
The school board itself.
No, the soccer league.
Soccer league. Again, I think the soccer league, it may, if it could show that you know, that tournament piece to it, if that exists. But again, the league would also need permission from the school board to do it to the field. So until we get that that permission and that agreement, our hands are sort of tied.
What's it called?
In this report, like your part 2 is considering a new soccer field, perhaps a complex, potentially an indoor facility. Now, I don't really want staff to put too much energy into an indoor facility research. We see what is happening in Thunder Bay at their $36 million facility that they originally wanted 50,000 and now they're settling for 15 million. Now they're going for 36 million. A town of 5,000 people cannot support an indoor facility at 36 million. So, if staff have energy, it needs to be put into a second field, researching that, not, being deterred by, a big pie in the sky dream there. So it would be lovely, but it's not, realistically, we can't afford that. So, I am in favor of, if the school board gives us the agreement of giving the money to get this field up to a safe standard for our community. And I'm in favor of us doing some research into a second field. But I don't want to see us looking at an indoor soccer facility.
Okay, that wasn't on the agenda today.
But it's in the study.
Anything further? So we have a slightly reworded resolution.
Through Mayor Lawrence, yes. So we would require the approval, the concurrence of the mover, which is Councilor Vego, to add the words at the end of the pardon me, at the end of the motion, and agree to enter into a use and maintenance agreement with the municipality and other stakeholders. Because I think that if we're going to talk about a use agreement, I think the league needs to be part of that agreement as well with respect to what it is prepared to commit to.
I guess the question would be on that is if they give us permission, but they don't want to talk, would that hold up? Like, so worst case Ontario here, if they give us, yeah, you guys can go do that, but we don't want to talk to you about an agreement. Are we still gonna or would we still move ahead with the funding to do that? With how it's reads there.
Well, with how it reads now, no, we wouldn't move forward at all until we have an agreement.
I think, certainly, if we leave it that way, you then have you can say to the KPDSC, but council has said only if there's an agreement.
Yes.
Realistically, we're 1 week from school vacation and no one will be in offices. And I can't realistically see you getting an agreement in 1 week. So if I could see someone maybe agreeing to it, like Joe said, but I can't see you getting a legal written agreement in a week.
I think the school board works, the board itself, we have summer vacations, but the board doesn't, they don't take, the entire board staff don't take the summer.
There for 30 years and very challenging. There's very limited people working in the summer. Let me just put it that way. It's very challenging to accomplish something at that time.
I guess my suggestion would be like, I think that's something and direct staff to work with them to get that, but not tie the two together. To work with the school board to find some kind of an agreement or on top of it.
Okay, I'm clear on the direction. So as long as I have indication from the school board that they're willing to discuss an agreement, I am to proceed with the work.
They're willing to let you do the work.
And that seems to be the direction. So anything further, Council Lakeman?
Agreed. As the mover.
As the mover, thank you. Then I'll call the vote. All in favor, carries, thank you. And if anybody wants to come and work on my yard and spend $1,000, I'd be happy. You know, all this sign improvements. Don't see how it could be so different. 7.10. The council, notwithstanding section 4.4 of bylaw number 09-20, being a bylaw governing the calling, place, and proceedings of meetings of council, hereby authorizes the date of the regular council meeting in August shall be August 13, 2025, to enable council members and staff participation at the annual annual conference. And further, the council, notwithstanding section 4.4 of bylaw number 09-20, being a bylaw governing place and proceedings, determines that the September council meeting shall be held in council chambers, municipal office 25 Fifth Ave. By Councilor Timpson, second by Councilor Cassidy, and Councilor Timpson to start the discussion.
It's been about 6 years since we went to Hudson, and at that time there was a lot of participation, but since that time, there's been a real resurgence of community involvement, and I think it'd be worthwhile to have this, try having a September meeting there. I know that we won't have the broadcasting, but I think it'd be worthwhile for the people that are active out there to participate, and we can promote it to the community. I think it'd be worthwhile our going there and just seeing if we have more participation now that they've revitalized it. And I would also like to see the facility and see where the proposed new facility is going to be and that sort of thing. I think it'd be useful to go.
Councilor Dawson.
Now, what is the barrier stopping us from live streaming?
There is no internet connection.
Could we not maybe borrow or like a Starlink Mini?
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, the time and effort involved in setting this up, and it won't be at the drop-in center. There's no room in the drop-in center to hold a meeting anymore, so it would have to be at the hall, not the drop-in center. So you wouldn't get to see the facility that's slated to be replaced. It would be at the hall instead, because there's no room within the facility anymore. Staff has made its recommendation. It's up to council what you decide.
Councilor Layton.
Yeah, I'm okay with what staff has brought forward and we no longer have a ward there. So I think have the meeting here in chambers uh, and move the August meeting to the 13th.
Further discussion, council? I could just call a vote then, and that would decide it, so, the motion calls for the council meeting to be held here, not in Hudson, and for the date to be changed, to August 13th. All in favor? Here, thank you. And that concludes the items requiring separate discussion. No delegations, bylaws. How do you feel?
Great. To Mayor Lawrence, the following bylaws are presented to council for 3 readings and passing this evening. Bylaw number 29-25 being a bylaw to permanently close, declare surplus, and authorize the sale of highway of the municipality of Sioux, Second Avenue, transecting 15 Fair Street. That was from the public hearing earlier this evening. Bylaw number 41-25 being a bylaw to establish an annual funding contribution to the Sioux Area Seniors Activity Center. Bylaw number 42-25 being a bylaw to establish an annual funding contribution to the Sioux Salvation Army. Bylaw number 23-25 being a bylaw to authorize and execute a contract between the Corporation of the Municipality of Sioux and AJ Positano Paving Limited in the amount of $329,780 plus HST. Bylaw number 45-25 being a bylaw to authorize the mayor and the clerk to execute agreements and documents regarding the sale of the hereinafter described land by the Corporation of the Municipality of Sioux to Sioux Hotel Investment Corporation. That's the property on Sturgeon River Road. Bylaw number 46-25 being a bylaw to authorize the conveyance of certain hereinafter described land by the Corporation of the Municipality of Sioux to the Sioux Hotel Investment Corporation. That bylaw numbers 29-25, 41-25, 42-25, 43-25, 45-25, and 46-25. Be read the first, second, and third time and passed is the motion we require.
Mover, please. Councilor Cassidy, seconded by Councilor Lego. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. No notice of motion, outside resolutions. So councilor reports. Councilor Duncan.
I had a meeting with the CAO Friday. We met on various topics and discussed various ideas and various projects, what's happening. So we brought ourselves up to date. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for that. We had a TRC meeting. We've got some pretty exciting projects on the go. Most of them are all in limbo for either approval or dates or something, but we've got quite a few things on the go with that. That committee is coming together very nicely. We've consistently made quorum. We, had some really highly intelligent people. And one of the things that we talked about at our last meeting is we are trying to do some education pieces on various things, especially with a lot of newcomers coming here and they're just not familiar with Indigenous, history. So we're going to start, focusing on some education. And the other thing that we wanted just people be aware of, and we're going to try to work with the town communication department on it, is about if you're doing something in the community and you're looking for Indigenous consultation and you're just not sure where to go, we could help facilitate. We are not going to be the consultants, but we can help you find those in the community. So, because, various people, they call someone and they don't respond and they don't have the human connections. So we're willing for people to come to our meetings. Our meetings are 2 hours long. We're historically only using an hour. So we do have time if you want to come and do a little presentation and let us know what you're doing and that you want some consultation, we're open to that. So I just want the public to know that we're here as a committee and we're willing to help. And we also had a committee of the adjustment meeting which I think we had 3 things on it. It was one of our longest meetings. So it was a very good meeting. So that was my month.
Councillor Bowman.
I attended the meeting, Councillor Costco just mentioned, we had 3 applications for consent, and then there was something with the parking for.
Yeah.
And I had to excuse myself from that one. On May 21st, I chaired, the council meeting as acting mayor. I'd like to thank the CAO for pulling me through that. I also, my son won a fishing trip, so I was able to go to Deception Boat Launch and kind of do just an informal audit. I never made it to the parking lot because I got dropped off at the docks. Packed, busy, unbelievable. But the launch itself and the road and everything, like it was just, I didn't see a rut or anything. The cement looked good. The only thing my only concern, just because there was so much traffic there, is just the size, the width of the dock. And it's quite impressive out there. Other than that, summer's starting. Too bad for the Oilers.
Thank you. Councillor Timpson.
And basically, hospital board, library board, environment committee, pretty well for me, other than that I'm on a regional health committee that, where all hospitals have a representative and they discuss health issues in the the Northwest. And, that's a very interesting and I think worthwhile committee, and that they advocate on behalf of the Northwest, and part of their work is they're trying to get records that can be shared, pharmaceutical services that can be shared, so it's to bring together all the services. Other than that, that's pretty well it.
Thank you. Councillor Van Brady.
Was a pretty eventful month. Been really busy with the Blueberry Festival, and then I attended the branding committee with Brian, talking about getting banners and flowers for Hudson, kind of like what's on Front Street here, the Sioux Lookout Life and Most, except they'll say, instead of Sioux Lookout, they'll say Hudson, but same colors and same everything. So thanks, Brian, for my constant emailing you. I see the ball getting rolling about that. Attended a pride flag raising with Mayor and Councillor Timpson. Good to point out too that the only mayors who came to their pride flag raise in the area was Fort Francis and Sioux Lookout. So I think that's a good thing to point out. Volunteered with Walleye Weekend for the 2nd time, and that was a lot of fun. I missed yesterday's TRC committee, but things are going well, so that's pretty good. Went to our environment committee, and then last week, Alana Pizzo Carroll and I cleaned up the park across from the Red Apple, and it looks really good. Nice that people have been telling me that it looks a lot better now. So we do have more ideas in the future of where to clean up, kind of like, spruce some things up and around town. Yesterday, the mayor and I attended the Mrs. Nicole Carbone's social inclusion class. They did the presentation on their year-end assignments, I guess, what it was called. Then I attended the last hour and a half of the Housing Development Forum, which went really well. I was really impressed. I think that it got a lot of people talking, and I know that for a fact that people see that Sioux Lookout is a growing town. So I think that our growing population, our development is being seen, and people are seeing that, and they're seeing that Sioux Lookout, we're no longer the small town anymore. We are a growing community, and that, I think that knock on wood, that we're on the precipice of a economic boom in this town for sure. Also, a lot of people in Hudson have been telling me that Boat Bay, the improvements have been looking really good. I went down there myself, and the Boat Bay boat launch, it looks night and day compared to what it was last year. So good job on that.
Thank you, Councillor Cassidy.
Yeah, so for me, kind of the last couple of months, unfortunately, I've been on the road a lot for work. And had to miss the last council meeting. But I do want to just comment that the new banners, and Councillor Van Breda mentioned it, but they look great. So kudos to everyone that put in the work on those. It's a nice little update. So it's really good. But for me, it's just I had pace last night. And then I have hydro board tomorrow as well. So those are kind of been my main my staples.
Thank you, Councillor Layton.
Yeah, LCC meeting was, for the June 10th, but they canceled it due to no agenda. So they started the summer break early. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. I'll take that. And besides that, just talking to people throughout the community and answering questions and directing them to the proper resources for their questions.
Thank you. I could actually report on 2 months. I won't be late. KDSB board meeting, KDSB governance committee meetings, recorded another mayor Q&A video session that I assume is online and I never want to see them. The NOMA conference that happened actually, that was actually in April. The health units had several one board meeting and several executive committee meetings. CAO and I are working on food insecurity with NWHU KDSB, trying to spur, let's say, a program in Sioux that would help with food insecurity. Help relieve it. Laxal Career Fair, attended that, and that was a remarkably large event in Laxal. With many employers, a really good event. Cedar Bay User Group meeting, that was with CAO, Cedar Bay and Nordic Nomads. Talking about some things Cedar Bay related. The CAO and I met with AMO, video conference on input to the Solgen, the Solicitor General on the cost recovery for the OPP. So we had a specific AMO policy staff meeting. They met with Kenora Dryden and ourselves and tried to get a feel for Kenora Dryden and ourselves and Pickle Lake are the 4 highest municipal policing costs, OPP costs in the province. They took the time to meet with us, which was great. And meeting with the local business owner regarding downtown issues. We alluded to some of those earlier. Very positive meeting in that I certainly understand the frustrations, but when people approach it in a very calm and understanding way, it's much easier to talk. So it was some good meetings there. Attended a citizenship photo with a young lady who has just recently got her citizenship and wanted a photo with them there. It was a nice thing to do. Met with the former co-chair of the Keewaydin Healing Waters Care Health Team, which I'm a signatory, and had some good discussions. She's getting back involved. But something Councillor Timpson said, I have been unable to attend most of the meetings over the last year because I'm constantly conflicting with KDSB. So I think I'm going to work with the CIO and I'm looking around the council table and to see if somebody else would like to step in and attend those meetings. So I think CIO, I should bring that to the next, I'll work with you to the next council meeting. So, to North student presentation, on social inclusion, unfortunately, because of the housing forum, I could only commit to 15 minutes there, but I saw some good presentations. The students were struggling with some of the same things that we struggled with in terms of the soccer field, and some of the presentations were wanting the municipality to do things in spaces that we neither own nor control. They had good ideas for inclusion and upgrades, but like the soccer field, it wasn't the soccer field, it was other places, and so, but it's interesting, great. They're putting a lot of thought into it, and it's good work. There'd be a follow-up. I'm hoping to get those presentations from the teacher, Nicole Carbone, and promised I'd send some comments back. And there's a couple of things that will share with the CAO that some of the students thought might be good ideas. That we do have some control over those spaces. The housing forum yesterday, which was, excellent, it closed with, so congratulations to staff for putting that on. And as I think somebody, maybe Councilor Van Breda attended part of it, it was, there were many, community people that attended, the private citizens. Presentations on cooperative housing. But the last two were the public announcements by HT, which is Habitat Tours, that have bought the Bigwood property, and they had, I was looking directly through my briefcase. They were announced, they showed plans of their planned development, which is considerable, including hotel, conference center, residential, and some commercial spaces. They're doing all their investigation and planning this year and starting construction next year. Don't have details on what's coming first or whatever, but the team they brought to Sioux showed the commitment. There was, I think, a team of about 10 people. These were, I think, 3 or 4 from MNP, the national accountant management firm. And they came from Vancouver to here, from Ontario, Ontario One or architecture. Came out from Toronto, several people from Thunder Bay. There's a group of 10 professionals that were brought here, 15 professionals that were brought here, which shows a real commitment to that project. And then the Right Out Bay announcement related to Hillcrest, and also confirmation of the Studio 6, expanded Studio 6 going ahead. So really good announcements, but good connections between many people there. And there's a lot, I'd really like to see that excavation for a real, or even to once the building permit application goes in, detailed design done. But very positive things going on there. Today, the CAO and I participated in called Solgen Input. Now, this was by the Solicitor General's office, and they gave all OTP municipalities a chance to, they had 7 questions. We'd already shared this with council. We prepared a written submission based answering the 7 questions from information the council has largely seen. And it was pretty easy for us to compare the 7 questions. Very difficult to listen to other municipalities. And I won't name any, Lower Hootersville or whatever in Southern Ontario, complaining about policing costs that are, well, one came up with their town of 35, and their policing costs with $710,000. Bothered me, number one, they couldn't put it on a per property basis, which is the way to compare apples, but I did the math during the meeting. If we have their policing costs, our policing costs on per capita, if we had their per capita costs, our policing costs would be, I think it was 1.2 million, I figured it, which is half of what our discounted cost was last year, 1/3 of our undiscounted costs. They're complaining. And it's just different, and it's very difficult to, they say that is unsustainable. They were alone on that, that we are outliers, we and Dryden, Kenora, typically. But we're getting a chance to have input, and I'm hoping it's going to have impact for us. That flag raising, which I was pleased to attend, and I just want to again publicly thank Councilor Bowen for stepping in for me for last month's my vacation, and I heard you did a great job. The cherishers. Thank you. I think that does it. We now have a motion to move into close up at 7:02 p.m. The council moves into closed session at 7:02 p.m. to discuss matters of general nature as noted below. Subject matter relating to a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board pursuant to the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, section 239 2K, one item, decorative installation. And subject matter relating to personal matters about identifiable individuals, including municipal or local board employees per Municipal Act 2001 as amended, section 239 2B, one item, appointments to council boards, commissions, and committees memberships. Moved by Councilor Lego, seconded by Councilor Van Breda. All in favor? Now in closed session, and I will declare 3-minute.
stuff will be required and we're back on camera.
Remember Mike's report, we'll be back on camera. Okay. The council ratifies motions. Do we have, what do we have?
Yes, so through Mayor and Lawrence, two motions arising from closed session. One, that council ratifies direction to staff respecting a decorative installation. First, seconder.
Moved by Council Cassidy, seconded by Council Vibrata. All in favor? Carried.
Thank you. And the second motion reads that council approves amending Schedule A to bylaw number 68-22, being a bylaw to make appointments to various boards, commissions, and committees by adding Tyler Bernier to the Environment Committee.
Moved by Council Vibrata, seconded by Council Bowman. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And the bylaw number 44-25 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Municipality of Silico, June 18th, 2025 regular council meeting be read a first, second, third time and passed. Moved by Council Timpson, seconded by Council Bone, all in favor. Carried. We are adjourned at 7:30. Thank you.
Joyce, did you almost second yourself?